just try to be entirely straight throughout this entire next game.
Handshake?
Yeah, handshake, zero emotion. Okay,
no
LeBlanc
emotion.
Gonna
only...
be the first ban here from Harmalife Esports, an understandable one, against Showmaker, who's going to then follow up with the very standard Skarner ban.
Has been exceptional in the mid-jungle 2v2.
Yes.
Particularly when paired with a strong AD laner, such as Lee. Still open, one of Lucid's favorite.
They're taking time to ban the second champion. They will need to ban 3. If they take too much time, it will be a while before we get through all of them. It will be a Nidalee, though, taken away from Lucid.
No fun for him.
Surprise.
Mild.
Yes. Kalista going to be the next ban here, as we will then move on to the final ban on HLE's side, but they have really taken a different path. Rumble, Poppy, and Bessa with their first bans. Rumble and Poppy still available for play. Neither of them have been banned. Will one of them be banned?
Poppy is there, a Hanwha Life special, something they love to play. Have played it many times. We also saw in the previous game an Azir ban to ensure that that was not going to be given over. Poppy stocks, even with Kalista already banned, still sky high, Atlas.
Yes, the Ahri is going to be the ban away instead, though. So one of either Poppy or the Rumble will be getting through.
Maybe both. Maybe trade.
Man, I am enthralled. One more ban to come through here on the side of D+ Kia.
Yes.
Let's see what it is going to be. Hopefully a champion that HLE do really want to pick.
Riveting stuff so far, Atlas.
Thank you very much. Jace is probably the one that needs to be banned. Good God. Oh, never mind. So it is going to be Zeus Jace to lead this one.
Okay, Zeus Jace comes in. No surprise there. A lot of the things we have seen picked into it have already been taken off the board. The Rumble is the next highest pick up on the tier list. And that does mean Lucid most likely going to go towards an AD jungler. Maybe you want to prioritize picking one up early. Vi, Cassante already taken away.
Whoa.
That is the champion that he, like many a jungler, made a name for himself. This is a lot better though, just objectively, when you pair it with
Morgana.
I was going to say something like the Aurora, right? Nocturne, Aurora is a combo that's insanely strong. The Poppy though, top tier pick, still flexible as well. So can go to either Lucid or Barrel here.
Yeah, I actually really like the Poppy lock-in because these are the two champions that were banned in game 1, right? Like, these are the champions that HLE didn't want to play into, so pick both of them. I think that makes a lot of sense. But we've now got Hammer, Jace, and Sejuani, best friends as far as top or mid jungle duos are concerned. And Peanut, no stranger to getting things done on Bristle as well. So we'll see whether that is going to be the lock-in. Would make a lot of sense if it is. And then where does Zeka go? Because, I mean, they can hover some Vladimir themselves. They do have one of the greatest Vladimirs to play the game a little while back. That's, of course, Viper. And the Aurora going to be picked. It kind of feels like a pick away.
Yeah, because I think that they are not sure where this Poppy is going. And otherwise, you can have a situation where like they lock Nocturne here, and then have the opportunity to later go for the Aurora, and then you have to ban it. Don't want to run the risk of that happening. AD carry pool can also get pinched, so maybe we'll see Aiming pick something up here. That is an Aiming classic, and let me tell you, Atlas, thus far, the champions on Hanwha Live do not do a great job of locking down this champion. And Maokai already taken out of the pool. Nautilus already taken out of the pool as well. And you're gonna need something. Vi also not there.
Yeah.
So the Zeri definitely going to be a big threat. Now there are a lot of lanes that you can pick into Zeri that just bully here relentlessly. But with lane swaps, that's not as black and white as it once was.
Awesome bans, because there aren't that many AD carries left remaining, right? We've had 2 games prior to this, as the Lulu is banned by D+.
That must mean it's Poppy support.
Yes.
Because otherwise you 100% pick up Lulu on 4 here. Or you let Hanwha Life ban it, that's fine as well. But that does really feel like a kind of a giveaway that they are looking to put Barrel on the Poppy, which makes sense. Between the two, he's definitely more of the Poppy
And we haven't
player.
seen Poppy support so far in the LCK Cup. Sorry, Poppy jungle so far in the LCK Cup. And so it is very likely heading over to Barrel. He's also really liked playing it and then walking into the enemy jungle. And then I think the rest of it's redacted.
You mean, no, there was a tempo death.
Ah, tempo death. Is that what it was? That's why it's redacted.
You should know.
Secret tech.
You should know.
Secret tech.
You're the #1 Barrel apologist, Atlas.
Not apologist. You never apologize for greatness, Chronicler.
Yeah.
As the Ashe is going to be banned away.
Can't believe Ashe has made it so far through the drops. Has really dropped in priority. still as strong as she always was, particularly with Sejuani. And yeah, we are continuing the bans towards Lucid.
That's
now,
3.
is it like... The problem is that Viego, for example, is still up, but LeBlanc and Ahri are banned, and also the rest of your comp does not really warrant it.
Wait, where would it go? Never mind.
Okay, let's not get...
Yeah, I was getting enthusiastic when I didn't need to.
I think it is going to be Viego, which I'm not super excited about. Oh, it's going to be like Viego Swain again. It's like, oh, Showmaker,
no.
don't do it. Maybe it's Rumble mid. I don't know, Atlas.
He just really wants that that Swain game that works. You know, he's like, I told you this was good. It might work out. It might not. Let's see what Humble Life Esports round out their composition with, as could have been, you know, a Caitlyn idea. A Jin is sort of conceding a little bit, but of course, you don't really need to play the same game as Zeri if you do lock that one in.
Picking Rel into Poppy feels kind of bad, though.
I mean, I don't know. Normally I see Jin, and it just makes me, all I see is red. You know, I'm just upset and angry. But I see Viper written underneath his face there, and I'm like, actually, this is fine. Because Viper has been so good on this champion. That's Rise. We would be really sticking to that short range, and there it is. It's locked in. Showmaker yet another one, unless he's going to be playing Rumble, but I don't think so. That's going to be a Rise. And so very short range, but so much DPS from this composition.
Yeah, my man has really been watching LPL. I mean, I'm pretty sure he did a shout out as well, because Doing BO also was the one that I'm pretty sure that's the Pantheon tank game I saw.
Yeah.
Also had at least one Rise game that I caught. And in a weird way, it does, like early game, I don't think it feels that great, but once you get to a first item, it does set up okay for Viego. You provide the lockdown, like between Poppy and Rise, it's okay. I think the problem is that when you look at the Humble Life comp, like that's a very well-rounded comp. You know, you have great engage, you have good poke, you have just a very well-rounded composition, a lot of different damage profiles, and then you look at the Ki plus Kia comp, and it's just a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff.
And you know, there's not that much setup, for example, for what you'd like with a Rumble. You'd rather have something like a Rel, you know, to lock people down. And then it's also Showmaker Rise. And I think Showmaker, unfortunately, has been not looking too hot today. Has had a really good LCK sub so far, but I think he needs to step it up in this game number 3 if we want to get a win on the Rise.
I think he was saving himself for the last 3 games. Or at least let's hope that that was what was happening, as his Rise going to be seeing whether it can do the same things that Poby did yesterday. You know, let us know. See whether he can walk in the footsteps of the Pogo. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for the 3rd time onto the Rift. A tied-up series as Peanut, oh dear, heroically charged into the wall. The rest of his teammates are coming out, but as you can see, means that Peanut is going to have to delay this beginning of the jungle just by a little bit.
Yeah, I think DK could have definitely gone. They could have gone a little
0
bit
flashes used.
Well, I don't think they needed to go that crazy, but not going to be the case.
It's more just that they didn't get the flash out of Peanut. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think they just didn't win or flip the game in, you know, the finals deciding best of 5.
Why not? Well, it's a barrel team.
I know.
I'm so confused.
If they had Braum, I'm sure they would have.
That's true. It's all right. No harm, no foul, though. As we can see, it was a little bit too early to even stop Peanut from having to adjust anything.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where if Lucid goes... because I'm pretty sure he didn't go W, he just went Q. If Lucid goes W, then you might be able to, but it takes so much time off of your early clear, as we do with the lane swap being set up this time by Humble Life, who want to try and dodge that lane.
Speaking of dodging,
I think it's mostly because of the Rumble specifically. Rumble, obviously, just in general, absolute nightmare to lane into. It's a big reason. As was it Lahens that just did this as well, this exact thing?
Peanut's just lit on fire. He's just dead, guys.
Just dead.
He's just dead. Beryl is the better jungler.
He thought that he did not have the damage. And Beryl, look at Beryl's face! That's bad!
He's just having a bit of a chuckle at it, gives him the double thumbs up, and it was as if Peanut was looking at a different part of the map. It was very weird. I don't know, was it obvious to you that he was just dead? It was obvious to me that he was just dead, and he could have flashed, I guess. Beryl did have flash, though, so maybe he's dead and no flash. And then if Beryl doesn't have flash, he's got Hex Flash, and actually he's more dangerous.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. It delays your early clear by so much.
Yeah. Well, now Delight is in this brush, but that only makes things a 2 versus 2 as Peanut.
Yeah,
He's going to be on his red buff, and that's his second camp. Oh no, Beryl is back.
No. Delight's only level 1.
Yeah. So he's taking a little bit of damage.
That is Jay, so
does
yeah.
fall off, but
and
yeah.
you're down a member. I would expect DK to try and look for an invade on top side as...
All right, let's check out the sick mechanics. As he just says, he's right here. And then he says, I got it. And then he cackles maniacally. And then wanders out. And that was before he did the double thumbs up.
Oh,
Beryl is just hunting.
He's dead.
Wait.
He's just dead.
Yeah, okay, maybe he is just dead, and Peanut gets...
He's still cackling! I can
and
see
Lucid's
it!
cackling as well. Like, what is this?
Oh no!
What did he mean by this?
You know, in game number 1, what really was the thing where I think we disliked most was how muted DK looks.
Yeah.
That's gone. I guess they were just scaling into the series, and it's just another reminder that Beryl cannot be comprehended. I do want to give credit to Humble Life. I think that having the light shadow there was a really big deal. So him continuously shadowing Peanut was what has kind of gotten Peanut out of this really bad early situation. Things are still looking great for Lucid, though. Double Krabby is also going to be able, with some difficulty, to pick up that Raptor camp. Yeah. And is still behind in gold because Peanut got the kill on Beryl.
Yeah, so Peanut gets his revenge, and that gets him back into the game almost entirely. So they're going to have to do a little bit of work here to try and find their way back through. I do like how DK's composition does work. It really just feels like a slobber knocker type composition, right? Like it's everyone's very short range, but everyone does a lot of things all of the time.
Yeah, a lot of damage to come through. And the amount of upfront burst that you have is completely bonkers. And we've seen Hanwha with a more tanky lineup before. I imagine Zaze with Grasp is going to go for the, kind of off-tank Bruiser build, not full tank, not full damage either. But this is a far cry from what we had before, which was like the K'Sante Maokai setup, where it actually felt like no one was killable. If Beryl stuns someone into the wall, and either Lucid, Showmaker, or Shiyu is nearby, they should generally die.
Yeah,
we'll
they don't have the kind of CC mitigation that they had in the previous composition.
Yeah, the invulnerability,
K'Sante can't be CC'd, you've got Feather Storms, it's just a lot of like, this is impossible. We're just gonna get, Lucid was coming down? But yeah, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that there was a Leona there. As he was like, that's the only way that I could go.
To get to the topside invade, I don't know if that's true, Beryl. I think you could have gone for your mid laner who had prio.
I don't think you're allowed to question it.
Well, I'm not a two-time world champion, so what do I know?
Exactly. None of us can. If you're in chat saying that that was a bad play,
well, it was.
Then show me your trophies.
As they should be looking to... Oh, 1 health!
All right, yeah, Peanut going to be able to grab that one as... Never mind, he's dead! Well, I mean, they still managed to get the grub, so there is that, but... That Realm Warp, that is so much better than the first Destiny that Showmaker threw out in Game 1.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
In game number 1, we had 0 impactful Destinies. First Realm Warp, oh, God.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay, Delight should be here in time.
And also, Viper is able to clear out the wave, so they have to wait for another one to conga line in.
Yeah, they were always gonna yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Delight's there. They're not gonna look for the dive right now.
It's all fine.
That's a first kill going over to the Viego, which is ideal.
Oh, Lucid actually going to be able to find Zeka here. Quite nice.
Yeah.
He was in stealth, but still, the follow-up damage is going to be there.
Yeah, Showmaker wasn't there, otherwise that might be a kill opportunity. I was wondering if Lucid wanted to maybe ult, knock back, and try to look for a flash force from Zeka, but I don't think he would have had the damage, and he seemed to think the same. Peanut already being put behind, though. Now, if there is one member on Humble Life you want to be, if you have to have someone be put behind, it's definitely Peanut.
He's playing Sejuani as well, yeah.
Yeah, not quite as resilient as Maokai, but still definitely there. Is Goes down to 1 health, still get it.
Oh, the Realm Warp Steadfast Presence as well is really rough.
Yeah, that's a disgusting combo. Aiming also being brought in. Aiming getting the kill, I think, would have been the best case scenario, but Lucid is a close second.
Yep, you're not too worried about it. So if we're going to check in on the feats of strength, 1 more kill needed here for DK. See whether they can find one. Viper looking like a juicy target.
I haven't mentioned this as well, but Barrel also didn't go Hex Flash. So instead went for what I assume will be like, what, Deep Ward. Barrel does seem like a Deep Ward kind of guy.
Yep.
And then I imagine Cheap Shot. Sudden Impact as Zeus and Chiu are just actually having a top lane. They actually get to play the game as Showmaker.
Yep. Sudden Impact and Deep Ward, by the way, is confirmed. So Showmaker now able to create the distance. Showmaker, Lucid not able to get in there with the stun. So DK won't be able to find their target. But that was HLE that was moving up, and DK able to get them out of there. Zeus, though, has been very quiet, and we know that his Jace is pretty good, as I unleash the understatement of the century. Aiming now looking for Viper here, and Viper just wants to get out. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to. The flash going to be needed. So that means Aiming with a big advantage on the top side of the map in that 1v1. Nicely
done there. Should be able to then equalize the CS at worst. And obviously, DK are very happy to look for team fights. It's such an interesting... Whenever there's a Ryze in the game, you know there's a ticking time bomb, right? Like, eventually, Ryze is just one of those champions that reaches the point where he feels simultaneously unkillable, and the amount of damage that he does is also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But because of the rest of the composition of DK, even as good as the scaling on both Zeri and Ryze is, I think the execution is always going to be a bit finicky. As there we go again.
Here's another Realm Warp, as they don't manage to get on top of Delight, but they don't need to because they barbecue the ground underneath him. And then it's Lucid's turn to be a Leona. Zeus going to be able to stop Showmaker from going back home immediately, but DK, this is a far cry from what we saw on the red side in game number 1. So much more proactivity, so much more successful plays in this early game, and they're trying to make them. You can feel the confidence. And so a great look for them as we move into what could be match point for either team coming out of this game. And well, I say could, I mean it will be.
It will be.
That's how it works when you're 1-1. You do move to 2 after 1.
It's okay, Atlas.
I didn't fail math.
Did you?
I didn't actually. I was actually relatively good at it.
Good for you. Unfortunately, the math doesn't quite work out here for Humble Life as they are finding themselves in a deficit.
That was 3-1, wasn't it? Because Delight died.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. I did, in fact, pick my degree, so I didn't have to do math. As right now, Grubs are about to spawn, 15 seconds. And DK have been successful in these skirmishes, but it has often come down to them just teleporting on top of someone, of Hanwha, and killing them. I do want to see if Hanwha can actually be the ones setting up a fight, right? If Peanut hits some CC, Viper can support from afar. You have a lot of burst with Zeka and Zeus, but Zeus not able to join just yet. Showmaker, the thing with Ryze is wave clear absolutely bonkers. Showmaker has been sacrificing CS, though, to keep going for these continuous plays.
Yeah.
As we do have both Lucid and Peanut waiting. Peanut has Banana Brush control. No level 6 for Barrel just yet. So he might be in trouble.
Captive Audience coming on in there as there is the stun. Aiming throws down the ulti as Viper. Remember, no flash. Can't get out of there. Barrel is really dead, but is Delight going to die? And the answer is yes. As Lucid takes the last bullet there from the curtain call. A 1-for-1 in the end. Both of the supports now on the ground. As Shiu, 2 seconds until the equalizer is back up and available. And HLE, they know it. Oh, gee, really wants to press that button. He does so as now Viper. He is the target. Aiming, doesn't skate over the wall. I think that was the game plan, but he decides not to.
Oh, they are waiting. Barrel is on his way back, as is Delight. Ultimate's not available for anyone at this point. We are hopeless, Atlas.
Yeah, HLE, they do manage to secure one of these grubs. See whether DK can collect one themselves. Deny those feats of strength as Delight looking for his way in. Gets that control ward down. Vision advantage here for HLE. As DK are all stacked up, these health bars are going down too low. So HLE, they will be able to get 4 grubs. And that is a big win for them because they also get the feat of strength. That is going to even things out as far as the race to objectives are concerned. And being able to stand their ground and actually win it is a good sign for the future. And so is this, as Barrel face checks yet another of these brushes.
Yeah, and he wants to get back because he wants to protect Shiu, I imagine. does look like they have done a vision, right? Like, if they knew it was only Barrel and Shiwa there, they might actually look for at least a kill on Barrel, but they don't. Don't know where the rest of the team is.
He does get level 6 at least.
Yeah, Lucid is going to take the opportunity as, yeah, finally that is available. And yet, I do think that was obviously a bad equalizer from Shiu. Maybe aiming to go in there, but aiming, they didn't have vision in Banana Brush, so maybe felt like it was too big a risk. Bad ult, I do think it's hard to get a really good one with the limited amount of CC that they have available. Here is a big time collapse to come through, or I think DK, they have a suspicion. 5 seconds on Lucid's ult, but Peanut not going to invest his.
Yeah, Showmaker able to get the heads up, so he's out of there as well. Of course, he is generally a bit of a target unless he can get those cheeky Realm Warps, as we've seen in the past. Man Faker, of course, one to demonstrate a lot of the really fancy ones. But you are notoriously without a dash. You know, Rise, of course, has the burden of being a 2010 champion. Well, not everyone had a dash. I guess he was pseudo-remade, but he kept like the identity of I don't
literally the most reworked champion in League?
He is, because he was
But he never got a dash, so you're
He never got a dash.
I'm trying to be too.
They weren't able to put a dash into his kit, which is weird. You'd think by now he should have at least 2.
No. I think that's one of the things why we... You know, we can keep him down a little bit. I feel like Rise is one of those champions that when he's good, he just feels...
Yeah, completely nuts.
He feels completely nuts. It's the global pressure. It's the ability to obliterate
it was mana scaling that was the biggest problem, because it meant that you could build Tank Rise and all of the, like, you just build Frozen Heart and it's a damage item. It's not very fair.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Tank Rise, not as much of a thing anymore. Haven't needed to talk about
You say that, but I wouldn't be shocked if he goes Fimbulwinter second.
Yeah. That's probably a very good point. But it may not be completely busted.
No,
that was the problem with the others.
I do also think that he will build more damage. And it won't just be Roa, but
he does have Ages of Rod right now, so there is at least that.
Ages of Rod?
Sorry, Rod of Ages.
I thought
slightly dyslexic.
I thought you were making a reference to something. I'm like, I want to know. I want to be in on the joke.
Rod Stewart.
That's your...
That's the only Rod I know.
Yeah, I don't know any either.
Rod Waterman's another one. He's a professional recorder player from Melbourne, Australia.
Really?
Yep.
I had no idea.
It's the only other Rod that I had to dig very deep. You can look him up. He's actually a phenomenal recorder player.
Wow,
if you ever thought the recorder was only ever to play Titanic badly, I tell you what,
that is actually what I thought, and I imagine a lot of chat as well. As we do have another Camtech Drake, and after last game, we're not going to slander again. We've learned a lesson.
Oh no. In fact, thank you, Orcs, for your incredible contribution to the broadcast. 2 beautiful souls, one after the other. There it is, that seal of approval, baby.
It's finally the redemption for Chemtech. It took a while, but it's here.
It's like, you know, we're all warming to Orcs. Over time, he's just becoming a favorite of ours in general, and his opinions are coming along with him, you know? And I don't think he ever really liked Chemtech Drake himself. It just,
he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice now.
Yep. He got left with the Chemtech issue. But now it's not an issue. It's beautiful.
Dead even game in game number 3, Atlas. You love to see it. I could have had a bit more action. You know, we started off strong.
It has slowed down.
But we had to set the stakes early, you know, big action piece. And now we're all doing setup. We are building suspense.
Yeah, listing people we know called Rod.
Yeah, okay, I think that's just us goofing off. I don't think that has anything to do with...
Do you know anyone called Rod?
I do not know anyone called Rod. No, I know a guy named Rob.
Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a B.
Yeah, that's
and I know him too.
Well, I know a different Rob as well. I wasn't referring to that.
Oh, okay.
But I do know you know Rob.
Thank you.
We cast together.
Yeah, no, we've been. I was like, have you just forgotten all those times we spent together?
I'm aware.
Something needs to happen, Chronicler.
Well, Errol was started up, but then Peanut, I think, was hearing this engrossing conversation. Was like, I gotta.
He's like, but I've got a friend called Rod.
I don't know if he does.
Well, I haven't spoken to him about it. In fact, I feel like it's a relatively niche topic.
So Harold gonna get started up again. Just some poking and prodding. Showmaker did TP towards the top side of the map in case that they were doing it. As Shio and Zeus both trading a good amount of damage. Both have TP available as well. 2 level for Zeus though.
Yeah,
actually been slapping in the 1v1, which it is Zeus on one of his Lightning champions. So thematically it does make sense. And because of the ward, DK do actually know in the pit that right now, they might actually be trying to set up a kill here. Lucid, there are mercs here for Zeus, and still, I like that respect. Still flashes.
I think you have to at that point in time. Him dying would have been a big deal. Trying to get some shock blast damage, going to be blocked so that cannon does not go over to Zeus. And first turret was already picked up, actually. So never mind. We don't have the feats of strength yet.
No, it's going to be down to either Herald or the Dragon. So now you do see with Lucid showing in bot side that Hololive wants to start it up. But look again, Showmaker has perma-prio. That's just one of the big things with Jace. His barrel, he knows they're in the banana bush. He's aware, and now they have confirmation. As Zeus should back, then TP in. Xiu did get it back in as well. I think finished his Stork Pan boots.
A little bit faster on the tempo as well from Xiu, so doesn't actually have to use the teleport to get back towards the fight if he wants to get over there. Instead, it looks like he is edging towards the bottom side of the map, and that gives Peanut an avenue to get back in. Yeah, they're to break that blast cone as well.
They're giving up. I think they're going to play for tempo on... Yeah, there you go. Pings come down. They're going and invading the bot side of the map. They're playing for tempo on the Dragon coming in. They want to set up Soul Point. Another situation where I think the last game was better for Chemtech than this one will be. I think it's really just Lucid that benefits.
Yeah, Viego does benefit a lot, but also massively. Rise, as he's flashing forward, speaking of Rise. Barrel's also flashing in. Zeus not going to be able to go to the skies unless with the help of Barrel, as he does slam him back into the wall. But now Zeka turns up Xiu with a better equalizer this time. Barrel goes down, but at what cost, Tunnel Life Esports? As there's the curtain call, but it's just not doing, never mind. Oh, hold that thought as he takes down the Rise, but it's still a 3-for-2 trade in favor of DK.
And Viper finds a consolation kill. Yeah, Barrel goes down, but still, I think DK going to be happy with that sequence of events.
Yeah, Barrel cackling all the way to the grave, Chronicler.
Almost gets the damage there. As this is the point and click that we talked about. If they wait like 2 seconds with the play, I think Zeka actually backs, and this isn't even remotely close. Instead, you see a lot gets used here. I think Zeka using his ultimate mainly to take down Barrel, really not getting a whole lot done in that fight. And then here Showmaker ensures that Xiu lives and then tries to hold out. And I think aiming probably could have taken 2 shots.
Yeah. But he did get 1 kill, which is pretty important for the Zeri. Sure. Wolf is back at home at the moment, but I don't know whether he'd certify that. We know Wolf and his certifications now. I don't think this is quite enough.
Oh, damage on Lucid is good.
It's getting closer.
But this is what DK, I think, we're playing for. Xiu should have his ultimate available. This is Soul Point possibility. And those waves,
Soul Point
go quickly.
And depending on who gets this Dragon, they get feats of strength at the same time. So this is a big deal. Delight taking a lot of damage, but he has Eclipse. Zeus also throwing a Shock Blast into Barrel, who won't be able to start off a fight this time around. Also doesn't have the Keeper's Verdict right now. Needs to wait for that one as he gets a little bit of Honey Fruit.
Yeah, I think Aiming had to pick that one up. There was more.
Yeah.
As the charge does come through from Herald. This is going to be a big fight here, Atlas, especially because it feels like DK have invested heavily into trying to make this work. There's the equalizer.
Yeah, Viper was already slowed down to 50%. And Showmaker looking for an angle in. Wishes he still had that flash from earlier, but still able to buy that space. Zeka down towards his bottom side of the map as well.
They're going to start it up. Do they still have the tools, though? Everything's available here from Life. TP comes in, Barrel!
Yeah, it's just the equalizer that is down as they get rid of the jungler, and now they can burst this Dragon. Feats of strength, Soul Point, but now the battle has started. Zeka going down incredibly low as both supports hit the deck. And never mind, Zeka's actually at full health as Showmaker's the one that's almost dead. And it's in fact the Aurora picking up a double in the fight. But it is still feats of strength over to DK. Soul Point for them as well. The thumbs up on his way out as well.
Yeah, that's a little rude. Like, he might die there as Lucid escapes with his life. That's also not just open, but also feats going over.
Yeah.
Not game winning in by itself, and they do trade 1 for 2, but I still think that you take that as it is Barrel. You see the light there, the little sidestep, because he spots him with the sweeper. And then I love this call from the light to just immediately blitz in, because you know that the Drake is gone, but you want to try and secure the fight. Your tools are great, Viper's in a safe position. But then crucially, the only other kill they get is Showmaker, who is flashless and dashless in 2025. Absolutely tragic.
How is Rise? Let's just rework him again. Now that you mention it, I think we really need to. He deserves it. As just the very edge of that Deadly Flourish is able to lock down aiming.
Mid lane, this is the benefit of that earlier charge they got on the Herald will be going down. And that's one thing where Humble Life have been really strong this game is their turret defense.
Yeah.
Still holding on to 2 of their 3 outers. The team fights, though, have been
and Dragon
back
defense.
and forth. Well, the Dragon fights have been... I think the fights have been...
Yeah, fights have been fine. It's just the Dragons themselves.
Yeah, big problem.
Seeming to be an issue.
Ooh, Shadow Flame about done for Shiu. Lucid also should be hitting his second item soon. And for Humble Life, we do see the recipe for success, right? Zeka goes in together with Zeus and Peanut. Viper's on the back foot after the lights start off the fight. But I do think finding individual targets is going to get harder and harder as this game goes on. And DK, they still have the opportunity to go for these big Realm War plays as the turrets need to go down, though. That's actually a big thing if DK want to really utilize the sideline pressure of this Rise.
Yeah.
As, trying to catch someone in a rotation.
Aiming as well. He's got the Vampiric Scepter. If he finishes Bloodthirster, I feel like he's going to be so hard to kill.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about the Zeri as much yet, but that is one of the reasons why I feel like the team fights later are gonna get really hard, is who locks down aiming?
Yeah, I mean, and you can, but then he cleanses.
Yes.
And so, like, your Glacial Prison is then on cooldown.
Well, and
but
that's
then if
even assuming you hit him with a Glacial Prison.
Right. Well,
it's
Permafrost.
hard.
Maybe he just cleanses the Permafrost, and then he dashes out of the Glacial Prison, and then he just zaps you all to death.
All right, item's not done yet. Looks like Showmaker's going to go for Arm Guard next, so we are saved from
yeah, it's not going to be actual tank rise. However, like, Seraph's and Rod of Ages
he's still
so
plenty beef.
Anyway.
Yeah.
As we can see here, almost 3,000
Yeah,
health
looking
right
for
now.
sideline play. Exactly what we're talking about. Because there's no turret, you can do this. I think Shiu trying to be a tasty target. But you can see Zeus.
Yeah. Rest of DK not actually coming on over just yet. As you can see, slow rotation down from the bottom lane.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dear.
Really trying not to sell it. They don't know about Showmaker, but I don't know if it really matters. Looks like Zeus is just backing, and Otacon pings are coming down. Now, Showmaker can just TP, but that is a cooldown that will be gone. If that is... yeah, there you go. You see the pings coming down now. They did spot him in the end there.
Well, Viper going to pick up a red buff and then move on up towards the Otacon as well. As you can see, HLE with full vision control of the area. Shadow Flame, like you were talking about, is going to be done as there's the curtain call. Beryl taking a lot of damage. That was a really cute attempted solar flare to catch a flash, but Beryl not flashing, just dying.
Yeah, it just goes down. They do get, what, 3 ultimates? Did Peanut also use his? Maybe on a play? Yeah, 3 ultimates down, so I don't think that alone is enough to do Otacon. It will definitely get Humble Life access, though, to this Dragon Pit.
The problem is that DK can, they can storm the point, right?
Yeah.
They've got Realm Warp, and you can set that up. We've seen already how deadly it is to send a Poppy in with the no dash circle.
They can also just play for top, where Otacon and Baron are waiting. So there's a luxury of choice here for DK that Humble Life doesn't have available in the game. It's still that even, Atlas. I think that we get either a 5v5, and one team is going to win and probably pick up at least Otacon or Baron. Or we split the map as
Bit of a flank angle. The Light doesn't have ulti though, remember? As aiming is going to try and dash out of it. It does take a lot, exactly.
I don't think he has his...
He doesn't have Bloodthirst, does have a Vampiric Scepter, but...
Zeka!
Yeah, it's not going to be enough as aiming has to flash. Going to be respecting the damage of this Aurora and also has to cleanse. The Shock Blast would have killed him as well. And so he's out of the fight. And now that soul that DK were looking for is looking by the wayside. And there's also pings onto a Baron as well. HLE really feeling like this is a tempo swing they can work with.
Yeah, I think that they're going to set up mostly. I don't think they're actually going to be intending to do, but that is Denial of Soul and, do note, aiming, both sums used, right? That is Flash and Cleanse now gone on the Zeri, and that almost impossible to lock down target is going to feel a whole lot easier this time around when we get to the next fight. This game, I feel like Humble Life, that was a big punch. Not enough to knock DK out, but a big win nonetheless, Atlas.
And this is, it's kind of crazy how different this is from game number 1, when we had both of these teams on the same sides. This one feeling like anyone could win. 500 gold in it, slight advantage for DK, but you can feel HLE slowly but surely getting themselves edges and edges of control in this game. DK finally getting towards the top side of the map, looking for a bit of Otacon control. As Peanut, he can just walk up. He is extraordinarily tanky. 2 items now completed.
Gonna have to go through lane. BT now done for aiming.
That's a big
something
one.
at least. 3 items for both AD carries. Approaching third for the mid laners as well. And DK, I think they might just at some point start this. The poke is so threatening from Hanwha though, particularly with Viper as strong as he is. He can just continuously set up for these long-range setups, making it so easy for the Lights to follow up. And a Showmaker, Zeka!
Oh dear, Zeka gonna get flashed on here, but he does manage to get into stealth, so he's not going to get rune prisoned. As he now actually turns it to look for an engage on Dashi, who flashes out of the way. The equalizer goes down, Zeka taking a lot of damage, but down goes the Rumble. And DK, I don't think they're going to be able to get anything done. Beryl is caught out of position yet again and executed. And Showmaker, we mentioned his amount of dashes is relatively low. He's trying to take someone with him, and it does not work. HLE, they just turn on a dime and do exactly what they need to win the fight.
And that root needed to hit. Showmaker investing his flash.
Oh no, Lucid looking for the pickup. They do manage to get the first kill as aiming is still deadly.
That's
in
one.
this fight. He takes over looking for Viper. He takes him down. It's the double. As Zeus is already dead, making a triple kill as Lucid says, buddy, we got this. And aiming gets over the wall. The extended beam not enough. And now Lucid turns up Zeka. Nowhere to go. That's the ace. And that's the DK we wanted in this series.
Oh my god! They just turn it around on a dime!
What is it? So this time Shiu dies at the very beginning, and aiming's like, I remember what you did in that last team fight for us, buddy. I got you.
Zeka gets into stealth. Beautiful turn here by Hanwha Life, even with Shiu finding the flash on the ultimate. Like the tragedies, Beryl and Showmaker actually
the realm walk
get completely screwed.
Yeah.
But this is actually the most important. Look at Showmaker. Look at the amount of damage that he does here. It's what sets up the play.
And look at the pings. The pings were immediate. Like, as soon as Showmaker started doing so much of that machine gun damage, that's when they knew they had a chance to get it done. Huge shout-outs to Lucid as well, being able to distract them so much so that aiming could get all of these free autos. But this is what we were talking about with this composition. It's so hard to lock down aiming, and especially when he's able to go over every wall ever and has this Viego getting reset after reset. This is the crux of the composition as well. Showmaker playing cheerleader from the death chamber, but man, it's all about these huge plays for DK, and if they win this game, it's yet another one that's now got the match point as Glacial Prison comes on through. It's not over yet, but Showmaker, he breaks his arm guard, they get rid of the Aurora, and now it's the Realm Walk to start this one off as aiming is right in amongst it. He explodes, and the Zap AoE is gigantic. The Winter's Wrath from Lucid not doing too much, but he's already stolen away the dead Sejuani, and aiming is skating into the enemy base. I have a feeling I know where this game's going.
They have too much power! They were never meant to have Otacon!
No one was meant to wield this much power, Chronicler. I think it's all Shiu's fault from game 2.
As Hanwha Life licking their wounds, Soul not 100% given over, but look at the timing on this. Aiming will have that available as it spawns. And that's key, because he can legitimately just fling himself into multiple people, end up dying, and as long as he does enough damage, it's the same thing we saw Showmaker do earlier on. By the way, that stopwatch getting a ton of value in this fight as we're taking a look. Look at this. Showmaker, again, gets tagged, but very quickly uses the stopwatch. Then Beryl takes out Zeka, and then they just go in, knowing that the amount of AoE damage they have, plus the fact that they can't realistically die, and all they need is one kill. This Viego pick, we talked about it. Viego is such a snowbally champion. Yes, Lucid got the early kills, but it's every subsequent play, from aiming, the damage done by Showmaker, that ends up setting this up, and 20 more seconds on this. Yeah, DK, they're gonna keep on fighting.
They certainly are, as the equalizer comes down in exactly the same spot yet again. They've managed to catch out the Aurora on the side of the play, and the rest of HLE, nothing. They can do the Realm Warp just to block off the escape, and Viper, there's nowhere he can go. Another explosion, and aiming claims 2, as now Peanut, oh, it's a bit of a drive-by there, that was very cute. 1,000 gold is gonna be picked up.
It timed out!
Yeah, we're going to call that a whoopsie. We're going to call that a whoopsie. As does that? No, it won't cost them the dragon.
I don't think it should.
As now Peanut and Zeus will see whether they can actually defend here. Showmaker looking for a Rune Prison onto the Jason. Does manage to get it there, smashed into the wall and taken down. It will be the inner turret, and in the meantime, Lucid will be able to secure that dragon. So an aiming moment, but he was 8-0-8.
Oh,
you know?
You can see him giggling as well. The shutdown also went to Peanut.
Yeah, to Peanut.
Of all people.
Oh dear.
Oh man. This, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I was joking when I said it was all set up, but man, was the payoff worth it? As it turns out, these team fights after Otacon, right, the gold lead has really ballooned. At this point, the buff, even on the second fight, is still available, so they can play with Reckless Abandon. Barrel and Showmaker deal with Zeka very nicely. And then they can just keep extending every play. I think at this point, Humble Life just kind of have to accept what's happening.
I love that we get this from Aiming's perspective. I think he thought that he had...
이거 뭐 아타칸이 끝났네?
Yeah, it was like, I had Otacon, didn't I?
It was legitimately like, as he dashed, it had 2 seconds left.
Yep.
It was peak. Perfect. They got Chemtech Soul, and I think DK are on the precipice of bringing Humble Life to a match point, Atlas.
This is ridiculous as well, because this is DK winning on red side at the same time if they're able to get it done. Currently it's a 7,000 gold lead or thereabouts.
It's the break.
And HLE backs to the wall. They've been there before though. And 5-game series, that's where they excel. We'll see whether DK can bring them their kryptonite, the 4-game series, which just isn't the same as winning in a game 5. Losing in a game 4, not the way to do it. They will be still alive in the LCK Cup though, facing off against the winner of Genji or Nongshim. And we were having a discussion about this earlier on in the week, and it would be a bit of a treat if we managed to get that DK Genji. But if HLE managed to win here, we might be denied it. We will see. Sorry, if DK managed to win here, we might be denied it, as Showmaker is going to get jumped on by both Peanut and Zeus and just flashes away. That's going to be enough. And of course has Phase Rush, so once he does get a few abilities off, he is absolutely rocking out of there. Still, that is going to be some bounty gold as the outer turret falls on the bottom side of the map. The rest of DK were on a bit of a reset.
Still, big win. You trade Smite and Ultimate for a Flash and Showmaker, so you're definitely going to be happy with that. Nicely done by Peanut there to ensure that the Spell Shield does not block his Ultimate. And do not forget, in the previous game, Humble Life, from a 6K deficit, still almost found a fight to bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if in this game, I feel like the drafts are very different.
The late game Zeri versus late game Jin.
Yeah, that is not a... I'm pretty sure also Viper was 2-0, 2-0-7.
Yeah.
And unfortunately has been continuously singled out in these fights. Barrel's also having way too much fun.
He is.
Which we all know is a bad thing.
And now his scoreline is actually 369 as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. As they got to walk in.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it's not looking too hot.
Showmaker has the better prison by the looks of things.
Equalizer, yet again, looking for CC.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
Oh, no, it
went somewhere, though. Zeka comes out of stealth and is unable to find too much there.
That's
in fact,
all juiced by Humble Life, so they can actually still look for this contest.
we shall see. DK making it very dark, though, as they endeavor to make their way over towards this Baron.
But they see that they're not doing it, so they don't feel the urgency.
Does Viper finish off his Infinity Edge as he goes back then? That would actually be a huge deal.
Be the case.
4 items for
Level
the Jin,
16.
and there it is.
There it is.
That's 6 items for aiming, just on the flip side. That he doesn't have.
Well, he's also
Infinity
Zeri,
Edge.
so I don't want to get too much bogged down in comparison.
Yeah, true.
There's also GA for both Zeri as well as for Lucid. Do like the Serpent's Fang here though, from Zeus.
Yeah.
As
Lucid.
yeah, the engage is a bit lackluster from DK, as we can see. On the live, they're just looking for an opening.
Peanut just
Looking for the
really
window.
wanting to make sure that he's can catch anyone who is out of position.
I'm pretty sure that Showmaker can solo Nash at this point, but it looks like DK, they just keep on looking, and I like Hanwha. They're cool. They're not...
oh dear! There's a heroic charge. They managed to... Oh no! Delight able to flash away. He buys a fair bit of time, but the Keeper's Verdict comes down, and Zeka is forced out of there. Another equalizer is... I mean, it did some damage to Zeka.
Did it really?
I mean, it did... It did some. Okay, objectively, it did do some damage to Zeka. So we're just going to go with that.
You're technically correct.
Yes. She's now just going to say, well, if I can't land my ultimate, I'm going to flash on top of this Jhin. Thanks, Showmaker, who's able to finish him off there, finding all of these Qs. Lucid now just resetting his way around the fighters. Zayas cannot do it alone. 4 lying on the floor in an instant, and DK, they can decide to win the game if they'd like to, or they could go boar hunting. And that is what Beryl's going to do. He starts the game doing it. He's going to end the game doing it as well. Is the rest of DK going to march down the mid lane? I don't know whether he wins the 1v1 anymore.
Oh, he definitely doesn't, no.
But he might be able to escape. As you can see, Showmaker teleported to the mid lane, and Beryl is stopping the backs, as they say.
He watched the T1 series, and he knows that you don't want to let Peanut get to the wave.
Yeah, and Peanut was the one having fun with Goshik, if you remember, with the dancing around the dragon pit on the as the Udyr and the Nidalee. Very, very cute. He's now in another one of these stories as he's just stuck in Poppy Purgatory on the top side of the map. And that is all the while his Nexus is being destroyed. Beryl is also winning the fight once more, as Chemtech Soul, ladies and gentlemen, still he's denied as the Nexus falls down. Match point for D+ Kia. This time, more heroics to take them to a Game 3 win. And how many more of these clutch moments do they have in the tank?
That might be the deciding factor between whether or not we are going to go to a game number 5, whether Hanwha swing back in game 4, or if DK can actually cash in on the reputation that they've had coming into the playoffs. Right, during LCK Cup, they looked the most well-rounded, but the progression that Hanwha have shown from start to finish has been amazing.
Yep, representative of the Hanwha Eagles as well, all too used to being on the back foot, unfortunately, as the team has had a reputation in the baseball league as being not necessarily the greatest. But still, see whether Hanwha can turn it around, look for that comeback victory. And a 5-game, like, if they manage to win this next game, I think HLE have about a 95% chance of winning the series. DK, though, come into a game 4 with match point, looking poised to take the win and send HLE to the losers bracket. And I'm just so glad that we have double elimination, because both of these teams playing their hearts out, and I'd love to see this best of 5 again. It is.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you, Atlas.
It's completely ridiculous. Woo! What happens when she doesn't make that play? What happens when the Zeri doesn't get just magically fed? Who knows? Time for us to go to a short break. When we get back, the space is going to break it down, and then we will have what could be the last game of the series, unless HLE can do it again.
지우야. 개잘하는데?
태우 잘하지. 나 이기는데?
좋은데? 뽀삐 잡았냐?
레오나 죽여버려.
내가 죽여버려.
야 웨이브.
아 있어.
끝났다.
아,
나이스! 템포 잡읍시다.
또 이컬
좋았다 형 바로 내서.
시즌